I go, here I go. Yeah, here I go, here I go.
Welcome in, everyone, to yet another episode of The Take with your host, Jackson Burlison, of course. And in this episode, so much happened. My favorite team got a player I've been wanting for like 2 years now. We had the Brendan Sorsby saga come to a close. The NBA draft was last night, so we're going to be reacting to all of that in this episode. But let's go ahead and make sure to hit that subscribe button, you guys. Comment down below your thoughts on these podcasts. Hit the notification bell. Also, share it. We are at 1.2K subscribers right now, so good job, you guys. I'm super excited about what we have coming up for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed all the World Cup festivities and the content I was doing, and also the Marlins stuff as well. We'll kind of get into my experience at the World Cup later in this episode as well. But let's go ahead and introduce a new member of Yo Miami Heat. At forward, 6'11" out of Greece, number 34, the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is here at South Beach, everybody. The Miami Heat have finally, we traded for Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Miami Heat, we received Bobby Portis and Giannis, but the Bucks, they got quite a haul in this deal. Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Caparis Jaconis, the rookie we drafted last year at Illinois, the number 13th overall pick, which turned into Nate Ament, and then an unprotected 2031 and 2033 firsts, 2030 pick swap, and 2033 second rounder. Giannis, of course, he won those 2 MVPs, and he led the Bucks to their first title since 1971 and 2021. Look, I mean, listen, the Heat always were going to get Giannis. I feel like it was just a matter of when. And I was a little bit nervous there, when they were saying the Heat and the Celtics are the front runners, because the Celtics, I thought were going to get him for a second, because I thought, maybe since the Celtics offered Jaylen Brown, that'd be a little bit of an appealer for them. It'd be like, oh, maybe we can get like a star player who could maybe, help us win sooner. But I think the Bucks did the right thing here. They're getting a lot of picks. They're getting a lot of players. I mean, they drafted 2 guys in the top 14 last night. They're recovering rather well. They'll recover fine. They'll be a good team in the next couple years. They're just going to have to develop some guys. But who knows? I mean, maybe the Bucks are good next year with all these pieces that they have. I think what it came down to in this Giannis trade was timing, because the Bucks, they wanted to know what some of these picks were going to be at in this draft before they made it a trade. Like, they wanted to know exactly where the Heat were going to be slotted, or some of these other teams were going to be slotted in the lottery. Maybe they could have gotten a higher pick, but they were kind of trying to play it safe here, because trading a player of Giannis's caliber takes a while. It takes a while for that stuff to get going. There were also times in this trade where it looked like maybe Giannis wouldn't leave at all. But there came a point in time for the Bucks where it was just like, all right, let's get this done. Let's try and move on from this, and let's start a new era. It's not like Giannis is leaving Milwaukee without giving them something. I mean, he won them a championship, kind of like I just said. He wanted to stay. They tried the Damian Lillard experiment. That didn't work. And we move on. And I think the biggest criticism for the Heat was, well, you need to get a star. And yeah, we do have a star, but at what cost? I mean, we basically lost our entire bench. And right now, when it comes to title odds in the East, to win the East. The Heat are third right now, and it's the Knicks and the Celtics who are right above us. We're at plus 550. So, again, like, I do think that this was obviously a great trade for the Heat. We get Giannis. We get Bobby Portis, too, who is actually a very good three-point shooter. He brings size. But, again, like, there's a very steep drop-off in our bench now. I mean, we just lost Jaime Jaquez Jr., who was a Sixth Man of the Year candidate. You know, Tyler Hero, we gave Tyler Hero a solid chance. I mean, in my opinion, we gave him a shot to see if he could be the guy or see if he could be one of the guys on the team that could help us get back to the finals. But I think it was good to move off of him. He was injury prone. He wasn't really available on the regular. So, again, I think this is a great trade for the Heat. But Giannis is in South Beach. I mean, what took so freaking long? What took so freaking long to get a star to come play in Miami? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about is, like I said, the bench. But we just don't have that much cap space. I mean, right now, we would have to operate around the $16.5 million to $18.3 million range when it comes to apron space to fill out our roster. And, like, our active roster salary is approximately $192 million. So it's already really expensive right now. And Giannis is going to be looking for an extension. In the next 6 months, we can sign an extension with him. But, again, like, we have to be able to keep Giannis in Miami if this trade's going to be worth it. We can't let him walk in free agency or none of that. I don't expect that to happen. But then again, you've seen some crazier things. The deal he could sign, though, in 6 months will be a 4-year, $275 million contract extension. Look, I get trying to lock up Giannis long-term, but if Giannis wants any chance to win a championship in Miami, he's going to have to take a pay cut. I mean, I genuinely believe he's going to have to take a pay cut because we're just not going to be able to build a good roster around him if he doesn't. Because we don't have a lot of shooting now. I mean, we basically lost most of it. So I don't know if we're a top 3 team in the East, honestly. If we didn't give up so much in this Giannis trade, I think it would honestly be better for us year one. But I think this is more of a team that's going to be competing in year 2 of Giannis, just because we'll have some time to kind of wrinkle out some of these, kinks and, flatten these irons out and get all this situated, because it can be a lot coming to a new team. And a lot of people are saying, oh, this is basically the same as him going to the Bucks. I mean, it kind of feels like that. I mean, he really doesn't. He has more help, obviously, with Bam Adebayo there and Andrew Wiggins. But then again, that's only the starting 5. After the bench, I mean, I'm telling you, there's a steep drop-off in our depth chart. There is. And we didn't trade Nikola Jovic in this trade, which I was very surprised we didn't. But again, I probably don't think he's a hot commodity. I don't think. We probably tried to throw him in the trade, but again, and then our package was better than Boston's. Like, Boston was offering Jaylen Brown and 2 first-round picks. We were offering, a million picks and 4 players. Our package was better for Milwaukee. I always said from the jump before this trade even happened that Milwaukee is going to try to get the most draft capital they possibly can, because they're going to be going for a full rebuild here. They're going to be going for a full rebuild. When you get rid of a player like Giannis, you got to start over completely. And that's what the Bucks are doing. But again, great job, Pat Riley and this Heat staff for getting a star. Now it's just figuring out the rest of this roster and what we can fill in, because we weren't able to draft any rookies this year. We're not able to bring any new guys in. So let's see what we can do when it comes to free agency, being able to sign guys, get some role players, get some of those Heat culture guys, those gritty, tough guys. See if we can find some of those guys, because we have in the past. Let's see if we can do it again and get some solid pieces around Giannis. Because, again, if we want to win, we have to get some shooting around this guy. We have to. And there were a lot of trades that happened in the NBA. The other one was the T-Wolves. They traded Julius Randle to the Nets in a 3-team deal with Nic Claxton, the former center for the Nets, heading to the Bulls. The Nets received Julius Randle in the 28th pick. Bulls received Nic Claxton. Wolves received number 33 pick in Mo Yagonia. I mean, this is just kind of a random trade. I really didn't think Julius Randle would get traded from the T-Wolves. But, you know, again, they paid, the T-Wolves just paid DeSumo. They gave him that extension. It gave him that cap space to pay somebody. But I don't know what Minnesota's doing right now. Maybe I think Minnesota could be a team to watch out for when it comes to maybe trying to trade Jaylen Brown, because there's no way after Jaylen Brown has been in 2 trades for 1 Kevin Durant and 2 Giannis Antetokounmpo that he stays in Boston. I just don't think there's a world where Jaylen Brown stays in Boston. And there's been rumors about him going to the Timberwolves. I don't know if they're going to be in or out on him right now, but Jaylen Brown, will he stay a Celtic after this nonsense that they just put him through? I think in my opinion, just to touch on that real quick, because I think the Timberwolves seriously could be in for a shooter for another star, but Jaylen Brown is getting treated so poorly in Boston right now. He won you a championship. He won you a finals MVP for himself. I mean, he took you second in the Eastern Conference without Jason Tatum for the majority of the season, and now you're trying to trade him? At this point, just get rid of him. I mean, why are you beating it around the bush? Why are you trying to keep him on the roster? Why are you trying to foster this relationship? It's clearly broken, and if you can glue these bridges back together, that'd be great. But at some point, you're not going to be able to glue these bridges back together. It's just all going to melt, and the bridge is going to collapse. That's what I think is about to happen here in Boston. If Jaylen Brown suits up, I don't know. For some reason, I've got a feeling that Jaylen Brown's going to request a trade or do something. I think he should. I mean, I would request a trade if I was him. Why not? I mean, they're not treating you well. You won a championship, and I get it. You know, some of the streaming stuff might be a factor, but again, I don't know what's going on inside of Boston behind closed doors, so I can't really tell you what's going on. But if I were Brad Stevens right now, I'd be looking at Jaylen Brown and asking him, hey, listen, do you want to be here? I would just straight up ask him that. Just see if he wants to be here. If he says no, get rid of him and move on. Get some value for him. Clearly, you've been trying to trade him. And I was a little bit surprised that Boston was in on Giannis. I mean, I just don't think that would have been working well. With him and Tatum, I think that spacing would have been weird. But they do have a lot of shooting. But I think the Bucks are probably wanting a little bit more in that Jaylen Brown trade. That's probably why it didn't happen. But again, the Timberwolves getting rid of Julius Randle makes you ask the question of maybe will they try to pursue a Jaylen Brown? I mean, they've been knocking on the door for a couple years now. They're still one of the top 5 teams in the Western Conference. What are they going to do? It's interesting. And then another just absolute shocker in the NBA. Dusty May is hired as the Mavericks head coach. He leaves Michigan after winning a national title, and he's going to go coach Cooper Flagg in this Mavericks team. This was a shocker to me. They ended up drafting Morez Johnson Jr., a Michigan player. Now Dusty May's got a Michigan guy in his Mavericks locker room. I mean, I didn't even know Dusty May was even a potential option for this job. I really didn't. I didn't even think about it for a second. I was like, Billy Donovan, Thibodeau, the normal candidates, right? No, we've seen two different jumps. We've seen, Coach Malone from the Nuggets, or former Nuggets coach Mike Malone. He went from the NBA to North Carolina. Now we have Dusty May going from Michigan to the NBA. It'll be very interesting to see how those two coaches do in these two different transitions. Dusty May, again, I think he's shown that he can win anywhere. I mean, he's been to the Final Four at FAU. He's won a national title at Michigan. And before he came there, that program was in shambles. I mean, they were awful the year before he took over. they were not good. They were a pretty mid program, and he turned that mid program into a powerhouse. And now he leaves that to go turn around the Mavericks, which I think he can. The Mavericks are still a good team. You still got Cooper Flagg, Kyrie Irving. You still have some other pieces in there, P.J. Washington, Derek Lively. Now you add Morez Johnson Jr. It'll be interesting to see what he does with that Mavericks team. I mean, great credit to him, man. I mean, Dusty May goes from, this was like 4 years ago, right? 4 years ago, he was in the Final Four with Florida Atlantic. A tiny, tiny program. Then goes to Michigan, wins a national title, and is in the NBA. So in like roughly 4 years, this dude goes from like coaching like lower level Division I basketball, Final Four, to now he's coaching in the NBA. And before that, he was a national champion in college. This dude's accomplished basically everything. Like, he's been successful everywhere he's been. So this is why I like the hire for the Mavericks, honestly. I mean, I think he's gonna redevelop Cooper Flagg. He's gonna make him a better player. He's gonna help him get better. And then that's a guy right there that can coach with Cooper Flagg basically his entire career. So this also makes Dusty May just the second coach to ever win an NCAA title and immediately become an NBA head coach the next season. Larry Brown did it in 1988. And there's a lot going on in the Mavericks. You know, they got a new president of basketball operations. Now they got a new head coach. And also Michigan assistant Mike Boyton, the former Oklahoma State head coach, is expected to be named the interim head coach with a strong chance of getting the full-time job for Michigan. So in regards to Michigan, that's the direction they're going to be going without him. And then let's go ahead and move on to more Florida trades. Brady Tkachuk, the brother of Matthew Tkachuk, he gets traded from the Ottawa Senators to go reunite with his brother in Florida to try to chase the Stanley Cup next year. I mean, the Panthers, listen, that's a great trade. That's a great trade. I mean, listen, you give up some picks. I mean, the Panthers get Brady Tkachuk, but the Senators, they got a 2026 first, a 2026 first, and a 2029 first, top 10 protected, and a 2027 second. That's a lot of picks. But again, Florida is in a point where they are a win now. They have a lot of older guys on their team. They're going to be healthy now. They're getting Barkov back next season. Now you add Tkachuk, an enforcer, big boy who can be physical. The Panthers needed a guy like that. And having him and his brother on the same team is going to be special to watch. We saw them play together when it was Team USA time in the Olympics and also in the Four Nations. They won a gold medal together. Now we're going to see them at the big stage where they could win a gold medal and the Stanley Cup. A pair of brothers, that's never been done before. A gold medal and a Stanley Cup final for a pair of brothers in the NHL, that's never happened before. So that'd be history in the making in Florida. I think that's perfect for them to get back into the Stanley Cup conversation. Now, he is under contract through 2028 with an $8.2 million cap hit, but he said repeatedly he wanted to stay in Ottawa. I think that's why it really shocks a lot of people that Brady Tkachuk was traded. Like I said, I mean, you get a bunch of guys back. You're going to get healthy. This Florida team is going to be dangerous. I mean, this is not a team you're going to want to play. Just saying. And then let's go ahead and close the news segment out with Brendan Sorsby. The saga ends. No college and no NFL in 2026. So basically, Brendan Sorsby, he applied to the 2026 NFL supplemental draft, leaving Texas Tech. And so the NFL responded, and they said they are not holding a supplemental draft. Sorsby was literally the only applicant, and the NFL said his petition filed just days before the June 22nd deadline lacked sufficient evidence and documentation. In their letter to Sorsby and all 32 teams, the NFL was blunt. They cited his repeated violations of NCAA rules, possible state law issues, and his failure to show accountability. Wow. I mean, for them to say he's not showing accountability, I think it's a little too far, because he did show accountability. He said he's going to rehab. He said he made a mistake. He's trying to get better from it. I don't think penalizing a guy is appropriate. But again, if the NFL doesn't want a guy who did, have gambling violations with the NCAA in their league, it's totally their right to not have him. Now, they said there's possible entry into the 2027 supplemental draft, or the 2027 draft, excuse me. So it sucks for Brendan Sorsby. He's not going to be able to play college football. He's not going to be able to play in the NFL. I mean, this is kind of a shocking thing for me. But I mean, now he's barred from playing college football this season. He won't be entering the NFL either. So again, now I think the saga is just going to continue when the court stuff kind of comes back. But he's already getting punished. He's not playing football this year, so I don't know what happens with that. It'll be very interesting to see how that kind of happens, but he cannot play college football or sign with an NFL team in 2026. He can pursue other professional leagues like the CFL, UFL, whatever, but realistically, his earliest path to joining the NFL is the 2027 draft. But this just kind of sucks, because I feel like if he was ruled ineligible, it still wouldn't have served him well. I don't know if it would have changed him going to the NFL or not. The NFL may have given him the same answer, but for him to go through all that just for him not to be able to play football anywhere, I mean, I think it's exactly how he should have been punished. I mean, I'm not trying to be that person, but I mean, he broke rules. I don't think he should deserve to play football. And he's not. And I think he's getting the appropriate punishment. And I heard Texas Tech pulled their support from him as well. They didn't want to deal with the Big 12 and that issue. They didn't want to lose any leverage when it came to being a part of that conference or anything like that. So I think it's very interesting to see how the end of this really played out, because I didn't think that was going to happen. So yeah, Brendan Sorsby can't play in college and can't play in the NFL. That saga has officially ended. And now, before we get into reacting to the 2026 NBA draft, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, comment your thoughts on some of the news segments we talked about, hit that notification bell, share this video. So, my predictions, my mock draft was awful. Okay? In the lottery, I only got 3 picks right. 3. I got the number 1 pick right, the 5th overall pick right, and the 11th overall pick right. So AJ DeBonsta going to the Wizards, number 1 overall. That was a no-brainer. I got that one right, of course. But, I mean, listen, we all knew that was going to happen with AJ going to the Wizards, I think. I think now you've got Trae Young signing that extension. He's now in for a long-term deal. I've been hearing maybe getting Anthony Davis done is next. Let's see if the Wizards can make a playoff push in year 1 of AJ DeBonsta. I mean, that's going to be interesting to kind of see how all of that unfolds. But AJ, he always wanted to be number 1, but this draft class is so good, and now he's representing that draft class. Let's hear from him about what he thinks about this draft class and what the future of it will be.
It's great. I've been playing against these guys or with these guys since we was about 13, 14. And then going to USA circuits, going to NBPA camps, Nike academies, and just seeing the same faces. I mean, it just shows credit to our hard work and discipline and focus that we're able to do this for, X amount of time. And I think, down the road we can continue to do this. And, they're comparing us to a certain amount of draft classes. Obviously, we have to see where that plans out, see how we do in the league. But, I mean, if we're talking in existence, I think that would be pretty special.
Just letting it play out, of course. The media is going to put out their narratives, of course. We're going to compare it to this draft class, whatever. But all you can do is do your work on the court. Number 2 overall. Now, Darren Peterson went to the Jazz. Again, not surprised about that. I did have Caleb Wilson going here, but I did know it was a long shot, so I wasn't like, oh, no, no way. No, I wasn't sitting there saying that. But Darren Peterson goes to the Jazz. He's going to fit in nicely with Keontae George, Ace Bailey, Jaren Jackson Jr.'s there. I mean, they got a lot of exciting young pieces. Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler. We'll see if they can get that contract done to keep him in Utah. But, I mean, Darren Peterson is the most talented in the draft. He's the best scorer. I think he's the best pure scorer. I think he's the easiest. He makes it look the easiest, in my opinion. And I think him going to Utah's getting a star. I mean, it really didn't matter. Honestly, in this draft, you had 2 number 1 picks here. You had AJ DeBonsta and you had Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson obviously wanted to go number 1. He said after the draft that it's going to sit with him for a while. He's going to think about it for a while going number 1. But he's chasing other things in this league.
When you say who am I say I'm me. I'm Darren Peterson. People are gonna have opinions on me and stuff because of what I went through and all that. But I think I'm a pretty cool guy. A big brother to my siblings, a son to my parents, a good friend, someone that people can count on. But now I'm an NBA player, so a whole new shift of my life and lifestyle. But basketball's always been the main thing for me. I'm going to keep it the main thing. Work my butt off my entire life, and I'm going to continue to do that. This is a short part of my dream, but I got a lot more that I'm chasing, and I'm going to continue to do that.
I like the attitude here. He didn't work out for Utah, but he did apparently have a private meeting with the Jazz, and they talked about, how excited he is to be in the NBA, what his focuses are as a player, things like that. And I think Utah came away with it, being a little bit more impressed because, the media did paint this narrative, he's not available, he's load managing in college to prep for the draft. He didn't want to play. He was sitting out of games. I think when it comes to the Darren Peterson cloud, I think there's a couple things to take away from this. One, I do think the dude was genuinely hurt during the college season. I'll be very curious to see if he's healthy for the start of Summer League. And then when it comes to Utah, they have a history of picking guys that necessarily don't want them at first. Ace Bailey last year, he didn't want to go to the Jazz, and they picked him anyways. I think once you get on an NBA team, unless you're just really set on going to some place, you're going to sit there and you're going to play for that team. Unless you're just really set on going to a specific team. But I thought we could have saw something like that where it's like, AJ, I want to go to Utah and Darren wants to go to Washington. But we didn't see anything like that. I'm glad we didn't see anything like that. It makes it a mess when you see stuff like that. Again, these are 2 guys that could have went 1. If they were in different draft classes, they would both be number 1 overall picks. Who will have the better career? I mean, honestly, I feel like Utah is in a better position to have a better future. I think the Wizards have a good immediate future, but I think the Jazz will be good 10 years from now. The Wizards 10 years from now, there's no way Trae Young and Anthony Davis are still on that team. So it's going to be AJ's team. Darren, he's going to be developing more so with some of these younger guys. He's going to be teammates with some of these younger guys longer. He's going to be coming up in the league with them, essentially. For AJ, he has young guys on his team, but the 2 best players on the team are veteran guys who have been to the Eastern Conference Finals in Trae Young and Anthony Davis, who's won a championship. So it's 2 different situations. I think the Jazz could see an uptick in wins this year. I think they're going to be a better team. I think they're going to be must-see TV with Peterson, and I think the Wizards are going to be must-see TV in Washington. But if I had to bet who's going to have the better team and who's going to have the better record this year, I will go with the Wizards if they are healthy, because I think Trae Young, Anthony Davis, AJ, that's a monster big 3 if they can stay healthy, and they're in the Eastern Conference. The Jazz, they have to deal with way more playoff teams, way more, I guess you can say, superstars in the West. There's a lot more depth in the West. So I think, again, we could see the Jazz maybe make a play-in game. Wouldn't be surprised, but I think I'm more intrigued about the Jazz to see how they connect that young core, but also the Wizards are intriguing as well. And then the third pick, obviously, you know, when you miss the couple picks, you start to get out of whack here. So I had Darren Peterson going to the Grizzlies, but the real pick is Cameron Boozer. Again, you can't go wrong with this. They need a big man. They just traded Jaren Jackson Jr. this season. You get Cameron Boozer, a nice young piece. You can shoot, drive to the hole, post up, physical, big guy. He's already been in the weight room. He's strong. You really don't have to do much strength development with him. He can do everything on the court. He can rebound. He can score. He can defend. I mean, anything you ask him to do, he's going to be able to do. And I think him and John Morant in the pick and roll is going to be fun to watch, assuming the Grizzlies keep John Morant, which John Morant could get traded. I hope he goes to my Heat, by the way. If we get a big three down there, that'd be sick. That'd be sick, okay? But the Grizzlies, they get a nice young piece in Cameron Boozer. And I like what they've been doing in this draft. I mean, listen, these teams have a lot of responsibility in this draft. You got to land on somebody. And I think the top three guys that went in this draft were the safest picks and the most talented players in this draft. And then number 4, you got Caleb Wilson going to the Bulls. Now, I had Cameron Boozer going here, but Caleb Wilson going to the Bulls, again, great fit, fills a need that they've been needing for a while. They have guards. Now they can have him and Josh Giddey be a complement to each other. Caleb Wilson, he's a great player. Him coming to Chicago, I think it's going to be a perfect fit. I like that pick a lot. So, again, like the Bulls, they just need something. And now I feel like Caleb Wilson's a guy you can build around. And you have a new head coach in Tiago Splinter there. So you can have Caleb Wilson learn from a guy like that, develop his offensive game. I think the Bulls can be a good team in the next couple of years. Once he develops, they build some pieces around him as well. And then the 5th overall pick, the Clippers. Now, I actually got this right, Keaton Wagler, excuse me. That's how they were pronouncing it. I didn't know it was pronounced Wagler. I'm sorry. I was pronouncing it Wagler this whole time. But, yeah, I mean, I think this was a no-brainer fit pick here. I mean, he's got the size. You don't need another small guard in L.A., so I get why Keaton Wagler is a Clipper, and that's why I picked him going 5th overall. So I actually got that one right. Yay! So we went through. I got 2 of the 5 picks right in the top 5. Not terrible. I probably could have went a little bit more realistic when it came to Caleb Wilson. I knew deep down he wasn't going to go 2, but I didn't really care. I was like, he's going to go 2. And then number 6, I predicted Darius Acuff Jr. to go to the Nets, and they actually picked Mikal Brown Jr. You know, I'm a little disappointed in the Nets here. I think you could have really landed on a superstar in Darius Acuff, the next Allen Iverson, which I believe he will be. You missed on a guy, plain and simple. I mean, I get Mikal Brown Jr. is also good. He can shoot the lights out from 3. He can drive to the basket. He's crafty. He's long. But he's got that back issue. And I think Darius Acuff was a little bit more of a safer pick, in my opinion. I think Darius Acuff and Julius Randle in Brooklyn would have been nasty. I mean, I genuinely believe that would have been nasty. So, again, I think the Nets missed on that one. And then 7th, I had Mikal Brown Jr. going to the Kings. But the Darius Acuff goes to the Kings. That's an interesting pick. The Kings, on paper, have a roster. DeRozan, Levine, Westbrook, Acuff, Sabonis, Keegan Murray. They should be good. They should be good. If they're not, that would be bad. I mean, if they're not good, they really should start considering trading some of these guys, like Levine, DeRozan. You really should consider Sabonis getting traded as well if you can't make the playoffs. With that kind of team, you should be in the playoffs automatically. And I think Acuff can help, but the Kings weren't that good last year. And they had that roster. It'll be interesting. 8, I had Braden Burries going to the Hawks, but Kingston Flemings, he jumps up to 8. He goes to the Hawks. I'm a little bit surprised about this one. But I think it makes sense. Flemings and McCollum in the backcourt together, It's small, but I think it could be a good scoring backcourt. I don't think Flemings will start, but if he does start, I'd be surprised. Flemings off the bench would be a spark for the Hawks. And I think we saw what the Hawks could do last year. I think they kind of are scratching the surface of what they can be potential-wise. Now I think it's time to kind of sit there and think about what they can do when it comes to having a guy like Kingston Flemings who can score. I would like Braden Burries when it comes to fit defensively. He has more length, but Kingston Flemings is a good player. I mean, he can score. He's explosive. He can learn. CJ McCollum's a crafty veteran he can learn from. Not a bad pick, but again, I would have went with Braden Burries here. And then number 9, Mavericks, they pick Morez Johnson Jr., the Michigan man. I mean, he's a great talent. He can rebound. He averages like 7 rebounds a game. Great defender. I mean, you can plug him in, and he can contribute on this Mavericks team right away. I mean, the Mavericks are going to be good next year. They should be, at least, they should make the playoffs. They should be a top 8 team in the West. They should be. That's the thing. They should be, but I don't know if they will be. That's the thing. But, yeah, I mean, I think Morez Johnson Jr., I think if I knew about, Dusty May going from Michigan to the Mavericks, I think I maybe would have put a Michigan guy here. But, again, I think it's a good pick. I definitely didn't think Morez Johnson was going to go higher than Lindenborg and Mara, but that's still a good pick. I would have went guard here, but I get why they're doing that because I think Cooper Flagg is going to take the reins with that one. And they got Kyrie Irving. I think they're trusting in some of the guys that they do have on their roster. And then the next pick, number 10 to the Bucks. So they pick Braden Burries. He's available for them. I had them picking LeBaron Fallon, but again, I think Braden Burries, perfect pickup for the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks, they get Braden Burries and they get Nate Ament in this draft. They're building something in Milwaukee. They're going to be a sleeper this year in the Eastern Conference, I think. I do think so. That's a heck of a roster. I mean, you only had to trade Giannis and Bobby Portis, and you get all of this. I think that's the thing you should be looking at this trade. I think the Bucks won that trade, honestly. I do. As much as it pains me as a Heat fan, they gutted us. They gutted us for Giannis. I think it might be a problem for us. We have the star, but everything else that we had before, we're missing now. I think it's an issue. The Warriors, I predicted they'd pick Yaxel Lindenborg. This just feels like a Warriors-type pick. He can set screens. He's a big man that can shoot. He can drive the basket. He plays defense. He can drive to the basket. He can catch lobs. He can play small ball. This is a perfect pick. He can learn from Draymond Green. I think this was a great fit. I knew it from the jump before I even was looking at this draft. Yeah. Lindenborg going to the Warriors, can't find a better pick than that. But this pick was interesting. So the Thunder, they draft Adamara. I had them picking Nate Ament, but listen. Are the Thunder trying to build some trees over there to stop Wemby? You've got Mara, you've got Chet. Those two guys, assuming they're on the roster at the same time, assuming that Chet doesn't get traded, which I don't think Chet will get traded. I think they'll keep Chet. But Mara and Chet in the starting lineup, I think what the Thunder are preparing for here is to lose Isaiah Hartenstein. I think that's what they're preparing for here. So they drafted Mara, who's basically a clone of Chet. So, again, that's a good pick for the Thunder. You get more size. That's a guy that can guard Victor Wembanyama. That's a big pickup. Big pickup for the Thunder. I mean, Mara's the best shot blocker in college basketball. Now you put him and Chet in a front court together? Stop it. That's a team that can beat the Spurs now. They have the size to match them. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see that team in action against the Spurs again. And they added a 7'3", 7'4" guy. That'll be interesting. And then 13th, honestly, I thought Hannes Steinbach was going to go to the Heat or via Bucks, but Nate Ament, he goes here to the Bucks. It just feels like a developmental project here. You know, you can develop this guy's strength and he can turn into a great player. I mean, he's 6'10", he's a big guy. He was injured towards the end of the year last year, so getting him healthy for Summer League is going to be important, but to get him some reps. But the Bucks have so many young players. If I'm a Bucks fan right now, I'm excited for the future and what you guys have. You have a lot to play with. Somebody on your team is going to emerge into a breakout player next year. I don't know who, but you've got a lot of potential for that. A lot of young guys, but we've seen young teams do some good things. This is a team built to win. I mean, I'm not saying they're built to win the championship, but they're built to be competitive with all these draft picks. And then the 14th, the final prediction of the lottery, I had Adal Mara going to the Hornets. They pick Hannes Steinbach. Again, they went size, which I thought they would. But Mara went a little bit higher than I anticipated. But Steinbach is a good player for the Hornets. He can rebound. That's what they need. They need more rebounding. They need more defense. They need more shooting. He gives them everything. He can stretch the floor. They can run small ball with him. The Hornets have some exciting pieces there, and you added Steinbach, who's an exciting young guy that can bring some tenacity on the defense and offensive end as well. Woo! So that was my predictions for the 2026 NBA draft. Didn't do well, okay? Got 3 out of the 14 picks right in the lottery. I don't seem to do well with these mock drafts, so it's been a little bit of a disappointment. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment, share. Let's go ahead and get into the next segment. Lionel Messi. He has become the all-time leading goal scorer in World Cup history. And Messi has 18 goals across 6 different World Cup tournaments since his debut in 2006. I mean, he's also the all-time leading men's goal scorer for Argentina with over 120 international goals to his name. He passed Miroslav Klose out of Germany with 16 goals. He passed Marta in Brazil, 17 goals. He's at the top of this list. And here's how he became the all-time leading goal scorer in World Cup history.
Now Medina, pulled back here, lets it run. Messi! History in Dallas! 40 years to the day since Diego Maradona scored the hand of God. Lionel Messi scores the goal to make him the World Cup's all-time leading scorer. Wonderful moment.
He's the GOAT. It's not even close. I don't care what Ronaldo's doing. But the thing that's wowing me is he's continuously doing this. Don't count Argentina out of this World Cup. They could totally win it. He's been that dynamic. I know their group's easy, but man, he's been that special. And then Team USA wins Group D. We're in the knockout round, all right? We do our thing. This marks only the 3rd time in program history and the first since 2010 that the U.S. has won its World Cup group. Let's get it. So we beat Uruguay. We beat Australia. And now let's beat Turkey, eh? Let's seal the sweep. And you know what's crazy? We won against Australia 2-0 without our best player, Christian Pulisic. This is what I'm talking about right here. You know, Petito, you know, our coach, he is doing his thing. You know, Petecchio, I don't know how to pronounce his name exactly, but he is doing his thing, dude. He is doing his thing. The ball movement, the off the ball movement, the back cuts, the striking. It's been elite. It's been elite. And the U.S., they will remain on the West Coast playing for the round of 32 in the Bay Area. And if they advance to the round of 16, they're going to be scheduled to play in Seattle, which it was rocking. It was rocking in Seattle. But the U.S. men's national team, we will play a third-place team from either Group B, E, F, I, or J. So we'll see who we end up playing there. As long as we don't play a crazy powerhouse team, I'm good. But listen, I think I'm going to say this right now. And I need everybody to listen well when I say this. USA is going to win the World Cup. They're going to win their first World Cup ever. I believe. The momentum we have, the home field advantage we have, and we're going to have throughout this knockout stage is going to be amazing. And I think we have the players, we have the speed, we actually have the best soccer team in U.S. men's national team history. This is the best and only chance we're going to have to win the World Cup. This is the golden era for USA soccer. We should win this World Cup. I don't care about all these other teams. I don't care if we're an underdog. I don't care. I don't care. We're going to win it. Bottom line, I've seen what we need to see. We've been doing what we needed to do. We've come into this tournament and we've dominated. Won our group after our second game. Come on. We're playing like one of the best teams in this tournament. You better wake up, guys, because we have not been asleep. We have not. And then let's go ahead and get into this week's Play of the Week. Yeah. So, Cape Verde versus Uruguay. That was a great game. I was in attendance for that at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Before I play you guys this Play of the Week, I just want to say something. Going to a World Cup event is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I never in my life thought I would be on the edge of my seat for soccer. But here I am paying $600 for a ticket to watch soccer. And boy, I would have done it again. I mean, that was the most fun atmosphere I've ever seen. Uruguayan fans chanting, Cape Verde fans chanting the entire game. People were so nice. It was a great atmosphere. It's a great place for people to be brought together and watch soccer. And it was an on-edge game for me. It was a great game. It finished in a 2-2 draw. Cape Verde, I saw their first ever World Cup goal in history. And I'm about to play, just listen when I play this Play of the Week, how loud it was in there. And I was one of the people in there screaming. It was amazing in there. Amazing. So let's go ahead and check out the atmosphere that I was a part of on Sunday for this week's Play of the Week.
Driven instead. Whoa! Cape Verde with a stunner. Pina and others celebrate.
So Cape Verde, they scored their first ever FIFA World Cup goal. That was on a free kick. They also marked the first team. This also marked the first time any team scored its debut World Cup goal from a free kick. So, I mean, we saw some serious history being made in Miami. And I think the one thing that I took away from this matchup as well was how good Cape Verde really is. I mean, Uruguay is no slouch team, but for them to draw with Uruguay and Spain I think that's very impressive. I think that shows how good they are. And for them being the smallest nation in the World Cup, competing with teams like that, I think that's very impressive. 3.9 million was the combined population between Uruguay and Cape Verde, the smallest combined population for a FIFA World Cup match in history. So a lot of history when it came to this match, and I was super glad I went to see this game. Super glad. I mean, it was a great atmosphere, great layout. It was so loud. I loved it. I mean, I'll literally have pictures rolling as I'm talking about this, of course, and videos rolling as, of course. It was great. If you guys can get a chance to go to a World Cup match, I highly recommend it. I think it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had as a sports fan. So getting to watch that and getting to experience it in person, there's nothing that can beat it. The only thing that can beat that is going to a USA World Cup match, which if they came down here, I would. But, you know, again, I'm just glad I got to experience it at least once and actually watch a good game. I mean, because soccer always gets the reputation for being boring, but if you watch the game and you understand what's going on, it's really not that boring. I mean, it's really exciting. It's really exciting. I mean, there were some crazy saves. You know, the goalies are elite. I mean, for them to be covering that big of a net and to be saving some of these kicks, some of these potential goals, it's amazing to watch. It's amazing to watch. But, yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it, guys, for this week's episode of The Take with your host, Jackson Burlison, of course. Make sure to subscribe, you guys. Hit the notification bell. Comment down below your thoughts on this episode and hit the notification bell as well. So for this week, unfortunately, we're only going to be doing one episode this week. It's just going to be today. This is going to be dropping Wednesday as we're recording it today. So I appreciate you guys hopping on. No episode Thursday this week due to us having to move back the Tuesday episode. We would have done Tuesday, Thursday this week, but there's also not that much going on right now. So again, you know, we're kind of, you know, getting limited on content, but stay tuned for short content. Hopefully I can go to some World Cup watch parties this week. We've had some unfortunate events occur. I really can't put that much pressure on my left foot right now, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to walk by then. Hopefully I can. I've got like some stone bruise nerve pinch thing going on with my foot. I haven't been able to put much weight on it, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that we can be able to go to attend some of those events, because we are supposed to go to a watch party for Colombia, Portugal this weekend, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. But I appreciate you guys, you know, staying up to date, staying tuned in with this podcast. I appreciate all the support across all platforms. We're about at 8,000 followers on Facebook, which is absolutely amazing. That was one of the smallest platforms we had starting this podcast, and now it's the biggest. So, again, I appreciate the support. You guys, I'm sorry that I'm only dropping one episode this week, but, you know, again, I just, you know, wanted to make sure that you guys had some time to digest some of this content that I've been putting out. But next week, we will try to get back to these 2-a-days again. Just for the sake of this week, there really hasn't been that much going on. But next week, we should have a little bit more going on. It's going to be closer to the knockout stage, or will be the knockout stage. Group stage will be over after this week. So we're excited to get into that. We'll do some knockout stage predictions next week and things like that. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But I'm Jackson Burlison, and you guys have a great rest of your week. Peace.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my